Hey, good morning, everybody. So today is Big Green Suspension Day, and I know you're saying, well, then why the heck do you have a Tacoma TRD Pro? Well, I'm not installing the suspension today, I'm picking it up, and this Tacoma is going to be my road trip machine. So I have to head a few hundred kilometers down the 401 to Michigan, grab my suspension, and come on home. So of course, we're going to do a highway fuel economy test right here in the Tacoma TRD Pro, and when I arrive down there in Michigan, there's going to be a special guest cameo here on the channel, so you're gonna want to stay tuned. Alright guys, we're here at the gas station. Time to fill up in the morning. We're almost full now, but we'll just top it up before we go. Now Toyota is still old school and has a little black stick right up here, not sure how well you can see that, to reset and go through your trips. So there's the odometer, trip A is reset. I'm also going to reset trip B. Boom, so now they're both at 0. Now I'll get out and fill this thing up and we'll be on our way. And here's the route, leaving Toronto, down the 401, across the 402, across the border in Sarnia, and then I'm going to a town called Romeo, Michigan to meet up with an old friend. So let's go. Okay everybody, well the US let me in and we are just about to our destination. Currently we have put 294 kilometers on this truck on this trip, and let's see how the fuel economy is doing. Right now we're looking at 13.2 liters per 100 kilometers, which is really not that great. Let me go ahead now and change over the unit so we can see what it is here in the US. So we change over to MPG, currently burning 17.8 miles per gallon, and I'll tell you the reason why that's really not good. This truck is rated by the EPA at 18 miles per gallon in the city and 22 on the highway. So I'm getting 17.8. I'm really close to that city number. I'm nowhere near the highway number. Now, I will admit I've been driving faster than the EPA tests at. I've had my cruise stuck at 120 kilometers an hour. That is basically a 75 miles per hour. And just sort of feeling out the truck, I think a lot of it just has to do with the way the powertrain is tuned. This truck likes to downshift. It feels like it needs to downshift often to really get into more power. In fact, it just did it right now. I'm coming up this really slight incline, but it has to hit a downshift and crank it up to 2,500 RPM to really get the power out of this V6. So I think when you are cruising at, higher speeds, especially, this powertrain is just not going to get great fuel economy because the power lives high up in the rev range. If you see the horsepower and torque, they're not made until, nearly peak RPM, which just means that, yeah, when you need power on the highway, the engine's got to get up in the revs and burn more fuel. So far, Tacoma TRD Pro, really not that fuel efficient. I'm almost at my destination. We'll pick up those suspension parts, we'll load up the truck, and we'll head home. And don't worry, if you are a Canadian Border Services agent, I am going to claim everything, and I am going to pay tax on it, so don't sweat it, government, I got you. So here we are parked, and we're already all loaded up. Here is our haul for today. This is a Skyjacker suspension 4-inch lift. So Big Green, my 85K10, it's already on a 4-inch lift, but it's a block lift, whereas this is a proper suspension lift. So I got 4 leafs in there. They're actual long travel leafs, so no more blocks, pure suspension now. It should really help with the ride of the truck, and I'm excited to get this stuff installed. But now, here comes the exciting part. Time for our special guest cameo, because my parts were delivered to me by none other than Mr. Craig Cole from AutoGuide.com, everyone's favorite automotive YouTuber.
I don't know about that, Steve.
How you doing, Craig?
That's being a bit generous, don't you think?
So Craig was generous enough to take my parts on for me, so I didn't have to pay shipping costs across the dang border. And yeah, I'm down here in Michigan, and Craig came out today in his lovely 32?
36.
36, I'm a little early.
Yeah.
36 Ford V8. So Craig, why don't you tell us a bit about your car, man?
So this is a 1936 Ford V8 sedan, 4-door. It's got the suicide doors at the back, which I just locked. I can unlock them, I guess. If we come around here.
Sure. I was worried about you today in the rain, but luckily it quit for us.
Yeah, it's gonna rain again. Well, I was looking at the Weather Channel app, and I don't see anything on the radar, but it doesn't look promising. It doesn't matter, the car's filthy. Anyhow, it hasn't been washed yet, so.
But it's sealed up, but how do the tires do in the rain?
They're bias ply.
So it gets a little sketchy?
They're not bad. You just have to remember this car is like a tractor that'll do 100 miles an hour because it's not a performance car. You can't steer, stop, or turn.
So you take it easy.
Or accelerate like a modern car, but suicide doors you can see.
Beautiful.
Lots of room up front. Lots of room in the back.
No kidding.
3-speed manual, torque tube drive, mechanical brakes. What else? Pretty much stock. Aside from a few changes, like I added LED taillights, it's 12 volts.
Nice. Was that an easy thing to do?
Yeah, pretty much. I had the generator and starter rewound when they were rebuilt for 12 volts, so it cranks over easily. Nice. The headlights are a little bit brighter.
The door feels good.
Oh yeah,
closing it. Oh, I love that. That mechanical.
Oh
feeling.
Yeah, everything is mechanical.
Good.
Everything is a 1-to-1 in this car. You, here, I'll start it, I guess.
Sure, let's hear it.
They have dual exhaust, some cherry bombs on it.
I'm gonna stay back here and get the sound.
Okay.
See what this looks like.
He's gonna start it up for us. Nice. Sounds good.
So about 100 horsepower. That's all it's got.
Sounds better than any modern 4-cylinder, I'll tell you that.
That it does, that it does. So.
Well, this is a beaut, Craig. And it did put in some work today, right? It hauled a couple 100 pounds of suspension components over.
Yes,
Did you feel that in the back end at all?
Oh yeah, nice smooth ride. Nice. This thing probably has more ground clearance than a Jeep Wrangler.
It's crazy how old cars have great clearance and new cars suck.
Because the roads, there weren't roads, basically.
Yeah, you were off-road.
Always. Cow tracks and plowed fields.
And for all of you watching right now, there is a delicious smell coming off this V8.
And I had everything balanced, so if you feel that, you don't feel much.
It idles beautifully.
You can turn it down to probably 200 RPM if you want it.
Wow.
It's at about 500 now.
Really idles nice. Well, very cool, Craig.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm coming down, turning around, and heading back home.
I know, that's like a quick, does this count as a whole work day, or do you still have to like edit a video, Steve?
Oh, I got like 4 videos to edit. You know how things go at TFL.
Well, that's 2 a week, right?
Exactly. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot for bringing the parts, and thanks for the tour of your car. And
the least I could do for an old friend.
Hopefully we'll catch you soon on another TFL video.
We'll be around.
All
Take care.
See you, Greg. All right, we're back on the road. It was nice to see Craig. We had a little lunch together. That's an old colleague of mine. If you guys didn't know, I used to work at autoguide.com. I was there for just about 5 years before I came over here to TFL. So yeah, Craig agreed to let me ship that stuff to his house so I could save on some shipping costs, and then I just had to come scoop them up. So you can see it back there over my shoulder. Suspension parts are loaded up, and I'm headed for the border. We will keep on tracking the fuel economy as we go. We've done 211 miles so far, so in total we're looking at about a 400-mile road trip, maybe close to 420 when it's all said and done. And yeah, I'll let you know about the fuel economy. Now, I thought I'd take this chance just to talk about a few other things here in this Tacoma TRD Pro. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is something I didn't think I was even going to mention, but I just have to. I've been in this truck now for multiple hours, almost 4 hours, and I just have to say it. It's the worst seating position on the market. I just don't understand how to get comfortable in this truck. I'm too tall for the Tacoma. You can see it here. My head is basically on the roof, and if this sunroof cutout wasn't here, I'd be constantly hitting. And the only way to solve that problem for me is to recline. And I gotta be this far back to be able to get my head off the roof, so then I pull forward a bit. And now I feel like I'm lying down, and there's just no way for me to get comfortable here. The seat is simultaneously too high up in the cab, but then also too close to the floor, so there's no real leg room. My knee sits at a funny angle. I could go on about this all day long and just keep complaining. The truth is, this is the best-selling midsize pickup truck, so I know for a fact that a lot of people don't have this issue, I do, and I really think that if you're over 6 foot, get into a Tacoma before you buy it, because you need to drive that truck for the longest distance you can and really see if it's going to be comfortable for you, because I got to tell you, for me, it's just not. And I know what you're gonna say in the comments, and let me beat you to it. This is not a girth issue. This is not a width issue. This is only a height issue. That's enough complaining. Now, there are 2 positives I want to talk to you about, which I've noticed on my road trip today. First of all, an exceptionally smooth ride, and that is thanks to the Fox shocks and this off-road tuned suspension. Second of all, the adaptive cruise control. When you are driving long distances, it's great to have adaptive cruise, and the system here in the Tacoma works really well. Okay, everybody, just pulled into our final destination, so you can see the numbers down here. We did a total of 669 kilometers, and at least this last segment of the drive, we did at 12.3 liters per 100. Now, I'll go over here into the main screen, and we'll switch it over to US units, and we'll see how we did in the US. So we go units of measurement, MPG. So our totals, 415 miles, 19 miles per gallon. So we actually dragged that fuel economy up a little bit, which is good news. As a reminder, this TRD Pro, 22 miles per gallon on the highway. So we still didn't hit that highway number, but at least we beat the city number of 18 MPGs. And of course, that's just what the computer says. Now I'm gonna go fill up, and then we'll do the math ourselves. And that's all it took, 9 liters. It was pretty full, so now we wait 30 seconds and we keep pumping. That's it. All right, everybody, let's do the math. So we used 70.924 liters, and we actually filled up twice, so we gotta add these up. Whoops, there goes my receipt, of course. And on the second receipt, we used 10.223 liters. So we go ahead and add on 10.223, and we get a total of 81.147 liters used. Now, the distance we went, 669 kilometers. So we take the fuel used, 81.147 liters. We go ahead and we divide that by the distance, which in this case is 669. We end up with that number, which you then multiply by 100 to move the decimal point, and we end up with 12.12 liters per 100 kilometers. Basically 12.13 for argument's sake. And that's essentially exactly what the computer said. So the computer here in the Tacoma was telling the truth. Now it's currently showing 12.6 liters per 100, which is, you know, slightly worse than what my math says, but that number is also getting worse as I sit here in that parking lot. So, you know what, safe to say that between, you know, 12.1 and 12.6, that's about where you're gonna land in this Tacoma, which is not horrible, but it's still not quite living up to the EPA standard. And I'll also convert it to MPG for you, or at least I will let Google do the work for me. And you can see right here that that equals 19.439 miles per gallon. So I didn't hit that 22 number, but keep in mind I was going about 75 miles an hour the whole time, so that actually makes some sense that I wouldn't hit the number. And overall, you know what, 19.4 for this truck isn't too bad. And here we are, guys, back where we started. I made it home, and I just want to show you all this equipment because I didn't actually lay it out for you before. So here's what we just went and picked up. So that right there is a 4-inch lift for a 85 Chevy K10. There's your 2 front leafs, 2 rears. And the beauty of this setup compared to what I have now is there's no blocks here. This is proper long travel suspension, so it should really help out the ride on my old K10. So guys, thanks for watching this video, and make sure you stay tuned to the channel because in the next couple of weeks I'm gonna get under Big Green, lift it up, get this suspension in there. I'm gonna get some new tires on the truck. I have a couple other plans for it, so I'm really excited to start working and to see what you guys think of it. So like I said, stay tuned to the channel, and of course keep on coming back for the latest news, views, and real world reviews. See ya.